Welcome back to another episode of the Movie Brothers. I'm Ant. This is Kev.
What it is, what it was, what it forever will be.
Okay. We have a great show lined up for you as always. We're so excited because we are in the Oscar season. So the films that we're starting to see and review are reflecting just that in terms of their greatness.
Oh yeah, this is the time of year where we see great filmmakers at the top of their craft, and it makes for just very outstanding movie watching.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's why we do what we do.
That's what it is. So the film we're going to review for you today is The Wolf of Wall Street. I've been waiting on this one a long time. This film is rated R, has a runtime of 3 hours, and yes, I did say 3 hours. It's a biography, comedy / crime film, and it's based on the real life of a gentleman by the name of Jordan Belfort, who we see his rise from nothing basically to a wealthy stockbroker, and then his meteoric fall involving corruption and the feds.
This movie was directed by Martin Scorsese, who really needs no introduction whatsoever. We know that he is a beast behind the camera, responsible for some of the greatest films ever made. The movie stars Leonardo DiCaprio doing fine work, Jonah Hill, Margot Robbie, Matthew McConaughey makes an appearance in this film, okay? Kyle Chandler, Rob Reiner, and also John Bernthal, who you may be familiar with as Shane from The Walking Dead. Okay, so this movie was very well put together. Let's take a look at the trailer.
Let's do it.
My name is Jordan Belfort. At the tender age of 22, I headed to the only place that befit my high-minded ambitions.
Name of the game? Move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket.
But if you can make your clients money at the same time, it's advantageous to everyone, correct?
No.
We will be targeting the wealthiest 1% of Americans.
I love three things. I love my country, I love Jesus Christ, and I love making people rich. Hello?
This is the greatest company in the world!
I was becoming a legend.
Aren't you married?
Yeah, but married people can't have friends.
We're not gonna be friends.
I was making so much money, I didn't know what to do with it.
22 billion in 3 hours!
The real question is this: was all this legal? Absolutely not.
Let me just kick this off by saying the first half of this film is pure Scorsese magic. It is everything that we've become accustomed to seeing from a Martin Scorsese film. He delivers it in spades in the first half of this film.
Yeah, that is very true. This film is getting a lot of Oscar buzz. The star of the film, DiCaprio, did a phenomenal job. I was very impressed by his performance. I think that he should, and I think he will be nominated for Best Actor for his role in this film. Right. Now, with that said, there were times in the film where I felt like he was dancing right up to that line of overacting. He did not cross it, but he came dangerously close. But considering, some may feel like he got snubbed last year by not winning for his performance in Django, it's almost like I felt like as I was watching him through this movie that he was like, I'm going to make sure everybody knows I can act, and I got that. But, to summarize that, I am saying I think he should be nominated for an Oscar for his role in this film.
All right. That's kind of damning with faint praise coming from Ant here, okay?
How's that damning? I'm saying the guy should be nominated for an Oscar. I mean, now, I'm...
Absolutely, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I mean, he did come close to jumping the proverbial shark, a couple of times, but he didn't do it. He didn't do it, and I think he delivered some of the most riveting acting that I've ever seen him do, in his career. I felt like it was DiCaprio at his best. All right.
Now, who did dance over that overacting line is Jonah Hill. Now, Jonah Hill, I think he's a good actor. I think he did a good job in this film. What I will say is, it would be hard for any actor to go toe-to-toe with, somebody like a DiCaprio or any of the top actors in the game. And I just felt like at times, he was out of his element. And maybe partially, too, even the character. I'm not totally sold that the character he played was for him in the first place.
I don't know. I really didn't have a problem with Jonah Hill in this role. I like the work that he does when he goes more serious than he does comedic. His part in Moneyball, he did a very good job up against Brad Pitt in that film, and I felt like he was really serviceable and really good. In this movie, you know, he kind of has to play a little bit of a clown, and he kind of does that thing that he normally does. But I really didn't have a problem with him in this particular role. You know, I thought that he was pretty good. As a matter of fact, you know, as far as the film goes, all the way around, I think the movie is sumptuously shot.
It was sumptuous, all right. If y'all haven't heard already, this is the most TNA I think I've ever seen in any movie in my entire life.
You know what? This movie will question your ethics and your very definition of what's right, what's wrong, what your values are, because this movie not only presents a copious amount of TNA, but I think I read somewhere where this movie sets the record for the most profanity used in any movie ever. Okay, so you need to take that into consideration before you plunk down your hard-earned ducats to go see it. But it's still a great movie. The dialogue crackles. It pulls you into the world of Jordan Belfort and makes you really question what are you willing to give up and sacrifice in order to live that same kind of lifestyle. And you might be surprised at what you would be willing to do in order to get to where he got to.
Yeah. You know, like Kev said, I cannot deny, I mean, this is a good movie. There's no denying that. With that said, I think it took a slight detour in terms of just the whole story. You know, I mentioned when we kicked the show off, this movie is 3 hours long, y'all.
Right.
And it's 3 hours too long. I think, you know, this movie easily could have been, you know, 2 hours and some change, and they could have told the exact same story. I think that, in my opinion, Scorsese, you know, this film outsmarted itself, you know, and, you know, reason being just the length. You know, we mentioned the TNA, it's lots of sex, lots of drugs going on, and I think, you know, the whole purpose of, you know, the scenes that we see in this movie are to, you know, show how crazy this guy's life was, and that's true, and I think that should be portrayed in the film so we get that. But the shock value starts losing.
It wears off.
Yeah, it wears off. I mean, after
it wears off after about 2 hours, 15 minutes or so. There's only so much of Leonardo DiCaprio snorting cocaine off of some woman's bare naked body that we need to see before we get the idea. Yeah, we get it, okay? Yeah. That was the life that you lived, okay? He lived hard, he played hard, and, you know, he reaped all the benefits, if you want to call them that, of that lifestyle. The movie is a study in excess, okay? Jordan Belfort lived a life full of excess, and ironically, that excess really kind of spills over into the filmmaking process because the movie is just far too long.
Way too long, because you start seeing the same stuff over and over again. So, you know, that was the main problem, and I guess for the most part, the only problem that I had with this film. You know, in spite of that, it's still a very interesting, intriguing story. I mean, about this guy, Jordan Belfort.
No doubt.
I mean, you know, no one could say, hey, I have no interest in watching that. I mean, you know, it's like watching American Greed on steroids. You can't help but want to watch and see this guy's life. It's very interesting.
Absolutely. And don't fault yourself for thinking very briefly, man, I wonder what that life would have been like, because Martin Scorsese does a really good job of making it somewhat attractive to you.
Because I did have that thought. I mean, straight up, I was like, wow, why did I not pursue a career as an investment banker?
Exactly, exactly. I think I could have pulled that off. Okay, Ant, you ready to put some points on this movie?
I am. Let's do it. Okay, so for me, you know, I give this movie an 8 out of 10. In actuality, it's really like a 7.5 for me. But since I'm not like Kev and I don't give half points, I'll go ahead and round it and give it an 8. I say 7.5 just because the length of the movie is way too long. If you cut it down, give me the same content, it's a solid 8. Go see this movie.
All right, and unlike Ant, I am more than willing to give a half point where a half point is due. This movie is an 8.5 for me. Yes, it's too long, okay, but it is just so much skill. So much skill has gone into making this film, and every bit of that skill shows up on the screen, from the actors to the direction to the dialogue to the music, all the way down. I really believe this movie is an 8.5. I think that you should go see The Wolf of Wall Street, and I think that it will be considered come Oscar season and for Oscar consideration.
All right, y'all. There you have it. We are the Movie Brothers. I'm Ant. This is Kev, where we bring you nothing but the real on the real. Peace.